Hello, welcome to Videodrone, a podcast currently about The Last of Us Season 2. My name is Ben Vanel. I'm joined as always by Tommy Dasilo. How are you going, Tommy?
Oh, good, thank you. And I am really excited by our special guest today, one of the great rabble-rousers of Australian media. Please welcome onto the show, Greg Larsen.
Thank you. Hang on. I thought that was applause. It wasn't applause. It was a laugh.
One guy laughing.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's been a crazy couple of days for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to learn more, Google Greg Larsen. That's Larsen with an E. And
Daily Mail.
Yeah. Just send him some nice DMs on Instagram saying how funny he is, and don't mention his weight.
Yeah.
Please
Well,
don't.
you had a
makes me really sensitive. I get really upset.
brutal day for you, Greg, with some stuff that was written in the paper, but luckily you get to sit down on Monday afternoon and just, unwind with a nice, relaxing TV show, like a nice warm bath.
It actually happened in reverse. Like I finished watching The Last of Us and then I checked my phone.
Oh, fuck.
So it was, I wish it happened. Oh, no, I'm glad it happened that way because I wouldn't have got to enjoy this fucking episode.
No.
And man, I there's a lot to like.
Yeah.
okay.
There's
A lot to like.
there was a lot of surprising stuff that I wasn't expecting to see, and all done pretty well. Also, we should just mention, because we have given no context, Greg's not like in trouble for like anything bad.
Yeah. It's some invented fucking Sky News Daily Mail bullshit. It's not an actual thing that he's done. Yeah.
No, he released an episode of his podcast talking about Anzac Day in a very thoughtful way.
Sort of cunts a lot, but yeah.
It's cunts a lot, but kind of deconstructing the Australian myth around it and our identity as it's tied to, politicians sending troops to die in a very tragic way. And believe it or not, Sky News and the Daily Mail took it all out of context and blew it up into a bunch of bullshit. So he didn't
would
do
say,
anything bad.
I'd say it's almost an example. One could make the argument of woke gone mad, and that in fact you truly can't say anything anymore.
Can't say nothing no more. These woke snowflakes.
These Sky News cuck snowflakes coming after me. But hey, speaking of going after people, episode 3 of season 2 of The Last of Us.
Yeah. We initially pick up straight from the end of the big old battle. We see a lot of dead people, a lot of dead zombies, which immediately my girlfriend was like, are they actually dead? Because like if they get frozen, they stay alive. And I was like, no, if you burn them, they're dead. That's okay.
That's the rules.
That's the zombie law.
That's
shoot
the
them in the
rules
head.
that Daddy Druckmann came up with. Those are the rules.
All those years
Can't
ago.
think too much about zombies.
No.
Whenever a movie has zombies, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's the same with time travel. If it's
It's just how it goes.
yeah.
But so they win the battle, but they lose a lot of people, including a great friend of the show, Joel Miller, who his brother Tommy's having a little look over the body, saying goodbye. He says, "Give Sarah my love," which is fucking devastating.
Yep.
And then, just to really underline how devastating it is, Ellie is in the hospital and she wakes up and fucking this was just so sad. Tears in the eyes immediately from the Vanel household because she sees a vision of Joel, a memory of Joel getting killed, and just starts fucking screaming.
Yeah, so this is this kind of not even makeshift hospital, but like hospital with like the lights are off, but it's very like all hands on deck, kind of treating people in the wake of the big siege last week. And Ellie's obviously sustained a ton of injuries from having the shit kicked out of her by that fella.
Yep.
Got a big tube in the chest, and just clearly still sort of stuck in that moment, like living through it. Brutal, really brutal. So then credits. The great man not in the opening titles anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
name's gone, and then also the little, how the kind of the little weaving cordyceps thing sort of turns into the two of them at the end. Now it's just her there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a...
Fuck, I wish I'd watched the credits. I just skipped the credits. I always watch credits for episode 1 of a of a season.
Yeah.
And then I skip the credit sequence for the rest
Yeah.
of the episodes.
Me
Yeah,
too.
right.
That's the method. Like, yeah, I started watching.
Except The Wire. Always watch The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
If the song's a banger, Sopranos,
Yeah.
I reckon you're letting the Sopranos cook for the
Yeah,
full
let the
2 minutes
Sopranos
every time
fucking
Alabama
play
3
out.
fires
Oh,
up, for
capissimo.
sure.
But yeah, that's annoying. I skipped that. I know. I wish I didn't.
Well, next time you can watch it, and then from that point on, you can skip it, unless they could add more people. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, they add him back in.
They add in every zombie that's been killed.
Oh yes, yes, as a beautiful tribute.
Yeah.
And then bang! 3 months later, they're cutting some lumber. They're rebuilding their walls, and Ellie gets a little visit from Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, man. Like, this was a weird scene. What did you guys think of it? Because I thought it was partial. It was like Ellie as a character deconstructing the trope of what would normally happen in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, she was clearly like, it made sense. Like it was clearly like she knew. The idea was, I guess, she's like, we need the shrink to see if you're psychologically able to leave. And she knew all the shrink's games or whatever. She's like, but it's a weird situation because I'm just interested to know what is going on with this character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not really, it doesn't feel exposition-y, not really. Because we already know that she's upset about Joel. Like that's that is so obvious and clear.
Yes.
But it just I don't know. I just kind of like the character. Like it, and I don't think it I don't know if it's like if she was written for a purpose other than to just have a sort of, like filling in like interesting characters in this town, right? Because it's a fully functional town. It's like, and the scene where she's at the baseball field.
Yeah.
We're just seeing this fully functioning town. Like they've got a psychologist there. And I don't know. I don't really know why she's there, but I also don't care, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in, like I've enjoyed the scenes that she's in, and it's just like, it does feel natural. It doesn't. I don't know if you have different thoughts, but to me, it doesn't feel like they're trying to shoehorn a character in. It's just a new character that to me is just, I don't know, helps fill out the world a little.
I loved the scene with her and Joel. I thought that again, like, and something with this, as an adaptation is like, there's so much dialogue and like actual characterization that we got from just walking around and having ambient dialogue and, like walking dialogue in the game that like, and it's hours and hours and hours of stuff. Like, so they've got to get that sort of emotional stuff in and that sort of character development in. And like, I think you're right. It's like, you got to have a foil for the character to let the audience know a bit more about how they feel. And I thought that was great with Joel. I think it was, it was sort of maybe, it was more that Ellie was like, well, I'm just saying what you want me to hear and now I'm going to leave, which I was like, I don't know. Is that the writers being a little too clever? But also it was like 30 seconds and then we moved on. So it kind of doesn't matter anyway. But
I guess it was just kind of to show that, right? Like she's been released. She's kind of smart enough to know how to say the right stuff, but in very much a way where we're like, we don't buy it. Like we know that she's not truly not okay. Like how can you ever be healed from that? I thought the scene with her a bit later, not to jump ahead, was a little more like I don't really know what that was doing in there, honestly. But yeah, I guess you've just kind of got to show, hey, some time has gone past and she was pretty fucked up and she did have to be.
Yeah.
I also do like this examination of just even going like, well, in a world like this, yeah, you would have, in a community this big, like, yeah, you'd have someone whose job is the therapist and that is their like background and they're probably okay at it to an extent, but also realistically, like, not that great. Like, she's so obviously bullshitting her in a way that, like, in our world, in the real world, someone, you know, where they were not allowed to be released until they, like, passed whatever kind of tests would be, like, not fooled in this way this easily at all. Look, would see straight through it.
But also, I definitely got the sense that she wasn't fooled. She was just like, you know, it was more like, yeah, I guess it's like, it's still just trying to figure out, like, what I guess her character's motivations were and what like her motivations are in that scene. But like to me, it was like, yeah, she kind of knows that Ellie's doing this. I got the sense that she's it's just the way she looks. It seems like she knows what's going on, but she's like, yeah, I mean, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, true. I know that you know what to say and all the rest of it. And I got more of a sense that she's like, I'm just letting you know, like, I am here, kind of.
Yeah, and maybe it is a bit of an acknowledgement too of like, yeah, how healed can you ever really be in this world? Like, the baseline is still just, yeah, you're seeing awful stuff on a daily basis, so yeah, whatever. Like, it's been 3 months. Like, go. You're as good now. You're as good at the moment as you're ever going to be. So time to go home.
And I guess the other like pretty salient point that I guess like this the scene with Soul and the scene with Joel and then this scene with Ellie connect in that way where Gale mentions, you know, I talked to Joel and he said that he felt that he had wronged you, but when I asked for more, he said that he saved you. And she's like, what do you make of that, Ellie? And she's like, well, yeah, you know, I guess like I don't want to perpetuate the cycle of guilt, and you know, kind of plays that all off, which maybe I was hoping would get treated a bit more seriously, but again, like you guys are saying, like, well, it just is going to be part of her. It is the way she feels. There's no way for her to like comfortably process this like it wouldn't be in real life. So, I guess we just also get the audience gets that reminder and that information, and gets told that, you know, or is made aware that Ellie has been made aware.
It's interesting though, like thinking about this, like because like on one hand, I went away from that episode going, yeah, I quite like that episode, but then like when we're talking about these things, I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't really, like I don't know or care. I think there was a lot of scenes in this that were kind of nothing.
Yeah, I not to jump ahead, but I kind of felt that way about this episode on the whole, and maybe this is just a sort of it's a bit unfair of me because it's perhaps a symptom of, you know, knowing the story from the video game and kind of what comes next. But this did feel, you know, on the one hand, it's kind of nice to have a bit of air, like after how intense the end of the last episode was, but this just did feel like a couple scenes too many in here of like, yeah, we get it, hit the road. Like,
yeah, I think that's the ultimate takeaway is like it, we knew because we're hardcore gamers.
Thank you.
But I feel like everyone knew the second that Dina says, which is like nearly the next scene, isn't it? So we have I don't want to jump too far ahead, but we have the scene where Ellie's alone in Joel's room was next, wasn't it?
Yeah. She goes to his house. She's looking through his stuff. Yeah.
And see, that scene I liked. I thought that was a really good scene. I think there's nothing wrong with just having a moment of just her crying at his shirt, you know, like just to just sit with it for a bit. And there's nothing we're learning or new. It's just sitting with the sadness of a character for a little bit, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that
it shows now a lot of like back in the day, like when you'd watch something on TV, every episode would start with the previously on, and some streaming services like they build something like that in, but a lot of times there is just a moment that's like this, right? That's built into the actual episode. That's like a little reminder of like, hey, this happened This happened last
Yeah.
ep. This is like this
Yeah.
is where we're picking up.
It's also emotional. It's not only serves a purpose, but it's also 100% realistic. I mean,
Yes.
this is the first
Yeah.
time she's been into his room since he's died.
Yeah.
And, she's just gonna, that's what you do. You look at a thing like a shirt
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're like, and it brings them out, and it's emotional and it's heartbreaking. And then, so Dina comes and so she's up in the thing and she wipes away the tears, and Dina comes with the biscuits or the cookies.
The cookies.
As you
want
would
some
say
cookies?
in America. Or actually, I don't even know if they were cookies. I don't know what the fuck they were.
I think they were cookies, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd just be hoping they weren't bloody Anzac biscuits, wouldn't you?
oh my fucking god! So Dina comes in, gives him the Anzac bickies, and Ellie's like, I hate the troops.
No, she gets the podcast recorder out. She hops on
She's
the
like,
mic.
can we just talk about how much I hate the troops for a minute?
I mean, the last scene of the episode, she is going to hate the troops. Let me tell you. Let me fucking tell you.
Those are some troops I think we all
I think
can hate.
I think we can agree on that one.
But so at this moment, when she's like, okay, this is a peace offering because what I'm about to say is going to make you real mad. I've known this whole time who they were. I honestly can't remember how that played out in the game, but either way, it makes perfect sense for her to do that because she's right. Ellie would have just pulled out the tubes and just would have died in the snow.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, there's nothing she could have done, and she was right to keep that from her and be like, we know they're going to Seattle, so wait till you're healed up, and then we'll meet them in Seattle.
Yeah.
From that moment, whether you knew or not, they're going to Seattle.
Right.
Yeah,
Even if you're
yeah,
only
yeah.
watching this show clean,
Even if you're only watching this show clean, this is Ellie.
Yeah.
Like Dina has said, blah blah blah. Like there's little like I think I don't know how many scenes there are. So is it like it's that, and then it's like them trying to convince Tommy.
Yeah, and then there's like the council meeting.
And
Yeah,
there's the council meeting.
Yeah. There's a lot. You're totally right. It's like you wouldn't put that scene in there to then just be like, well, everyone talked her off the ledge and now she's just going to keep living her life in Jackson.
Yeah.
No, totally.
And it kind of seems a lot of that felt redundant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it kind of felt like they were like putting in extra stuff that they just didn't need to put in. Like Tommy not wanting to go and having that argument, that was kind of cool. Like I think, Tommy made some good points. In that she was like, Joel would go for you, and he's like, not if I was dead, he wouldn't. Like,
Right.
he
Yeah.
would, like he would go to save me, but he wouldn't go,
Yeah.
because Joel was a pragmatist, and he's making some good points. He's got a family here and blah blah blah. But like, you could have just really quickly said, the council's not approving it.
Yeah.
I think I didn't like the scene that followed. Like, I thought the scene with what's the other guy's name? Jesse.
Yep.
I thought that was kind of redundant.
Yeah.
And then the council scene, that was a scene I didn't like.
Yeah, okay. I felt like some of the writing was a bit too spoon-feedy, and there's one thing that I think is done well in this episode that is not done in the game, and that is the bigoted man Seth getting real mad and then being an ally and helping them. A lot of the commentary and the response to that online I've seen has taken completely the wrong message from it, at least in my opinion. Like, a lot of people are like, fuck yes, Seth's a good guy. Anyone can be redeemed. And I think you guys probably agree. It shows that what Ellie's doing is something that a fucking hot-tempered, bigoted old bastard would do who has a thirst for violence. Like, I think that's the best thing we get out of that scene, which I do pretty much agree. Like, most of this episode was redundant stuff, but at least that did serve a storyline that, you know, or a character's development or a character's arc that is something that I care about and I'm interested in. But
Yeah, I think similar to the therapist, I kind of like seeing a bit more of the inner workings of this community than you would probably get in the game, or like certainly having that sort of stuff expanded upon. So like I thought it was kind of cool to see like, yeah, it goes to a vote and here's how, you know, here is the split of how people in the town feel about what to do. I kind of liked it for that, but I thought like, yeah, as you were saying, Greg, I don't know that we needed, 2 to 3 different run-up conversations to have this, you know, like maybe it would have been a little bit more interesting to just kind of focus that all in on this moment.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah, you could have like had it all just the council scene.
Sure.
And Tommy could have said some stuff in there, and Jesse could have said some stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, again, as I say, like regardless, we know they're going. Like, and I don't think that's people who played the game. I think that's anyone. Like once they lay the idea, like we know that they're going. Like she said, she's already laid the groundwork. She said, you know, blah blah blah. Yeah. And the thing that I mean, this could be an unfair criticism for me, but like the thing I didn't like about the council scene, it's kind of like there's a show I hate. What's that show called? The Newsroom.
Oh yeah. Sure.
The Newsroom. The one with like Jeff Bridges Daniels. I don't know.
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. It's Aaron Sorkin show, right?
Yeah. And I say I hate it. I've never seen it. I hate.
You hate the idea of it.
Yeah. It's just like I see clips that get shared, and I'm like, this reads like an email that your nana would send, where it's like, and I was at the shop, and I turned around and said, well, I'm actually, you know, and then everyone clapped, and then, like, and maybe it's just because I'm so hyper aware of this stuff, but like when he's even just saying the word, like you're acting like victims.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it's like you're making this into a modern day political Trump versus lefties.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And maybe they're not, and maybe it's just I'm just so fucking by everything has to be a metaphor for modern day politics. But I was just so like, ugh.
Yeah,
I immediately just went no.
Yeah.
But also, like maybe I'm overreacting.
No,
because again,
it's
like
clunky
as you
writing.
said,
Like that's I think that's my issue with it, is that it's just clunky, shitty writing. Like the other guy who gets up and is like, I'm not a Christian, but I believe in some of that stuff that funky guy said back a couple thousand years ago. Really, forgive. It's like you're the guy who believes in forgiveness. You're the guy who believes in revenge, and I think, I think that my issue with what he said was more that it was kind of a shorthand for current viewers to get what kind of person he is, rather than equating their situation with modern day politics, if you know what I mean. It was more like, this guy's like I think so. But I totally agree. It was not my favorite.
Well, again,
writing.
it's just even that kind of language feels like very like our world focused, right? Like they're 20 something years into this. The idea that you'd be sitting around saying to someone, "Stop playing the victim." I just don't think that those like conversations really exist in a world like this. You're so far removed from this idea of someone having a victim mentality. It is so like modern online kind of speak that doesn't really track when your day-to-day life is survival and worrying about zombies and stuff.
Exactly. At the end of the day, like it would have been like they should have really focused more on the pragmatic stuff. Like I think the stuff that like Tommy said was more like gooder. Like where he was like, you know, we got people to protect here too, and Joel wouldn't have revenge is like pragmatically, it's not like he doesn't want revenge or that it's just more like, let's be realistic here. Like we're in Montana, they're in Seattle, we've got a town that is rebuilding. And that to me is the only real concern they need to be. And it just felt like a long time it felt like they're really trying to justify this trip that just, we saw Joel get beaten to death with a golf club.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
don't
it felt
need-
like they decided, Ep 3 will be about the decision to head off on the trip.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like for whatever reason they'd like invented this kind of line where they can't have a bit of a discussion and then the trip sort of happening within the same episode, which, but again, like we know this is only 7 episodes and we know that they've split that second game up across 2 seasons. It is a bit like, yeah, get us into some stuff happening. Like, yeah, we know they're going to go
totally.
find them. Like, the interesting thing is actually, how they go about tracking them down, whether they're going to be able to track them down, what they're potentially going to do if they do track them down. Like, yeah, no one's going, I can't wait to watch an hour about whether or not they're going to go and find the people who killed Joel.
Yeah, I
Like-
think.
Yeah, when we all know they're going to.
Yeah, end of last week's episode, watching it with my partner, she was like, devastated, but then was like, oh, so I guess the rest of the show is like Ellie goes and gets revenge. It's like everyone knows that's going to happen, regardless of the further context. Like it was. Otherwise, we don't really have a show. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like today, once they raise the idea, that's what they're doing, and then so they have the council scene, they vote no, but then they go anyway, surprise, surprise, and then it's I like the scene of like it's little stuff like this that I like, which is like practical stuff, right? Where Dean is going, all right, you need this handgun, you need at least one long gun. You don't need this, you don't need that, you do need this. What about
got any medicine in there? Or
yeah, like is it just ammo because you're going to twist your ankle at some point? Like, and little stuff like that. It's like I like stuff like that because it shows a sort of, I don't know, it makes the stakes feel real and it makes it feel grounded.
Yeah.
And it also just shows, like their capability and like that they're both, very able to do this.
Yeah. They've been going on patrols. They've been shooting zombies. They've been training for this. But before that kind of, accelerates down that plot line, we get this little scene with some people walking through the forest, and they're all wearing kind of robe things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That happened before, yeah.
Yeah. They got a lot of shaved heads. Girls got their hair braided. They're all looking kind of like medieval times almost. They're kind of Dark Ages people.
Yeah.
And they're whistling to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Seems
was
kind of
weird.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like these guys.
Yeah.
And I that's an interesting little scene. Interesting little scene. I don't know what
It's a
else
little
to say,
cameo
but
from the polyphonic spree.
I will say this about this scene, and again, this is another, like, it's, one of my pet peeves is like when you explain something that doesn't need to be explained. But it's not that big a deal, but whatever, is like asking the little girl what the whistles mean. It's like, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's pretty easy to figure out they're communicating through a system of whistles.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Having a whistle and they go, yeah, all good.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to. You don't need to go. And what does this whistle mean? It means it's all good. I'm like,
And if you were wanting to really test her, it's like, yeah, we're walking. It's not really much of a test. It's like, yeah, that means keep going.
yeah,
You're right. It's not like it's going to... It would have added a lot of mystery or... I don't know. It just would have been a bit better of an atmosphere to just have that happen, to have them respond wordlessly, and we are learning about them if you just do that. We don't need it spelled out. Just a few things specifically in this episode that I felt were a bit overwritten, were a bit overexplained, and you're right. Just they don't necessarily add anything to the experience. We can figure it out. We're smart people.
Yep. But hey, we met a bunch of new characters who I guess are going to like now be in the show. Like,
I thought that little girl was so charming, such a fun little character.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll pop up in the main credits like next week.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
and what happens after that? So we see them, the people.
They do
Bald
mention as
people?
well that they're hiding from wolves, which we
Right.
we know is the and
WLF.
it's been explained, I think. Yeah, the
I can't remember if that's the scene before or after, but that's like Dina's like, track them down.
It definitely, like, at that point,
Yeah.
unless you're a Daily Mail reader, you know. You know that when they say wolves, they mean...
So my timeline's all over the place because I did pause this episode halfway through to check my favourite websites. Daily Mail Australia, Sky News, and fuckwit.com are my three that I kind of have up in the main home bar there.
Yeah, okay.
I really like that, like WLF, wolf. What are these guys, fucking idiots? Like she's like that's her main takeaway is how dumb it sounds.
But no, yes, because that's happened. That was in the very first, the cookie scene, the famous cookie scene where Dina literally the cookies.
I don't know why I said it like that.
She draws. She literally draws a picture for us. Of the logo, Western Liberation Front, I think. Is that what it stood for? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so wolfies. So yeah, we see those creepy.
The
they've got
furries.
scars. Yeah.
It would be a wild a wild and bold move.
Quite bold,
if they made them all furries.
I think we'd all be on board with that. I think we'd be I think we'd be surprised, but
can we have some furry representation on TV, please?
Even if they're the bad guys, it doesn't matter. It's better than nothing.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, we've talked about kind of worrying that Abby was too humanized, but if they make the group she's from all furries, I say kill them all.
Yeah.
But after an hour-long yiffing scene, they got to add. I'd be so upset if they didn't have a whole episode just called Yiff City.
Yeah.
And they're all yiffing. Yiffing, just by the way, is if for those unfamiliar with furry cultures, when two people in furry costumes have sex.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
They also sometimes have sex with real animals.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that. I mean, there's like all those Walking Dead spin-offs. Hopefully we get a bunch of Last of Us spin-offs where, maybe there is like a whole community similar to Jackson, but it's like all just by coincidence, everyone in there. And it takes them a little while to be able to admit to this, that, they are all furries. And hey, if ever there's going to be a community that's going to turn a blind eye to you going out and having sex with an actual animal, you'd like to think it would be these furries in the, look, the world's ended. Do what you want, man.
Yeah.
Just don't get bitten while you're out there. That's all we ask.
Just don't get bit.
As long as you don't come back as a clicker, you'll always be welcome here.
Yes to yiffers, no to clickers. So, and they hide from the furries.
Yes.
From the wolves.
Yep.
Yes.
These bald-headed freaks of nature.
They got big Joker scars on their cheeks.
Yes. Yeah.
Why so serious?
You want to know how I got these scars? I sucked off a crocodile.
Would it surprise you to know that a large proportion of the people that have been sending me death threats lately have Joker profile pictures?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is that shocking?
Oh,
you got to do a number crunch for us on the breakdown of Joker, jet ski,
Fish.
car, fish.
Yeah.
Work out what is truly the most chaotic profile picture.
Fucking hell. Anyway, so they hide in the forest, and then we cut back to that's when that Ellie and Dina are leaving. Is that right?
Yeah. They pack up their shit. Dina is like, I got someone who can help us out with some supplies. And Ellie's like, okay, fucking Jesse? She's like, no, some other guy. And it turns out that it's old mate Seth, the angry man.
Sandwich making motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, I believe in your cause. And Ellie's like, shut up, man. Fuck you. And he's like, come on. I want to be friends now.
Good luck out there, you fucking dykes. I'm saying I'm helping you. I'm helping you. I'm a fan. I'm on board with your cause.
I meant a piece, like when they get a piece of earth to hold back water. That's
Yeah.
I was
Like
using it as a term of endearment, like when gay guys use the F slur on each other. That's why I was like, I didn't know it's not a... How am I meant to know? There's no Google for me to look this shit up on. I'm doing my best.
It wasn't even invented before the zombies came.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm helping.
There's no Ask Jeeves, which is the most up-to-date reference I have.
Didn't you see the other scene? I've redeemed myself.
Yeah.
My favourite album is the Strokes album. Is This It?
Yeah.
I remember when that came out. Anyways, and they trade guns. He's like, my gun's better.
Yeah,
Let's trade.
yeah.
And then she's like, all right.
Okay.
Trades guns, and then they're off. They go, first stop is visit Joel's grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I like this really neat little, just this like one horse width door that they have to be able to let someone, almost as if it was designed to be able to let people covertly slip out in the middle of the night.
I didn't even notice this one horse.
Yeah, it's like this really tiny little out you get. Yeah.
A little back door. But yeah, there's a very beautiful, very like screensaver friendly, like wheat fields at golden hour as Ellie says goodbye to Joel. She says hello to him again, and then she says goodbye to him.
This show has a great photo mode, which basically just means that you pause max and then you do the desktop screenshot. And then
take a photo with your phone.
Yeah. Sorry, am I boring you?
You were boring me a little bit. He drops in little coffee beans because he loved to drink coffee. That guy. She's
like at no point did I remember that he loved coffee that much.
No,
But then I guess he did, but I just forgot. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think he talks about Chef Boyardee more than he talks about coffee over the course of season 1.
But it was my my judgment on that scene was whether my partner got teary, and she did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it worked. It hit home.
Nice.
Absolutely.
She finally passed the psychopath test.
Yeah.
Ellie
She
drops the
strangled a
coffee.
cat while she did it. So I don't know what that means.
She was laughing. She was cackling maniacally.
That's why she was crying. There was tears of laughter.
Ellie drops the coffee on Joel's grave and then says, "Now I can talk to you," because he's had his coffee. And yeah,
They run off.
they run off.
And a clicker of him comes out of the soil and goes, "Pow! I just shit my pants."
It really took a turn. The show.
Yeah.
And then, and then there's the montage, a little montage, the cross country
Yep.
little thing.
Yep.
Kind of like, beautiful vistas.
I did love this overall in this ep, by the way, seeing the like change of the seasons, like even just that shot where she, to go way back, when she turns up at Joel's house and it's, it's not just covered in snow, it's that nice tree out the front. It looks a lot more just like not just a snow covered, seeing a bit more of the environment. Thought was cool. And we get a lot more of that here.
Yeah.
Them hitting the road.
Good little montage.
Good little montage. They've travelled a long way.
We see them in the tent, and they talk about the kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're riding along, and Dina's like, hey, maybe think about maybe like pulling in and setting up camp sometime soon, and then cut to it's pissing with rain, and
Yeah.
This I know this is like the wrong takeaway for this show. I was like, man, that looks good. A little camping trip,
Yeah,
little in a tent with it fucking pissing down outside.
it is cool.
That seemed like a good time.
But yeah, they go over it. Dina's like, yeah, I hooked up with Jesse again. Whatever. But she's basically like, you're gay, I'm not. Was I a good kisser for abroad? And Ellie's like, you were a 6. Which is, just be nicer. Just lie and be like, oh, it was a 10. Anyway, good night.
Nah, dude, that's negging, bro. You
gotta
gotta
neg.
say that
You
sort of
gotta
shit.
neg, dude.
Oh, man.
I
I'm such
applauded the
gotta
TV
neg,
when she
dude.
said that. I was like, do a magic trick. Call her fat.
Yeah. It was 4, fatty. Yeah, and then so and she was like, but like I got the implication I got was that she's back with Jesse, or at least
right.
like, she's like she went because she made a comment about like, you know, she couldn't tell. What was the comment if he's like this with everyone or if she just doesn't like her?
Yeah. It's like, do you think that Jesse's sad, basically? And they were both like, yeah, he does seem kind of sad, but is it something that is part of who he is always, or is it me? Is what Dina says. Yeah. So that's something.
Which strongly implies to me that like either they're still together or she's definitely like in love with him or something.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yep. But then before they go to sleep, Dina's like, I wasn't that high when we kissed.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah, that is pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is boys chat. Wait.
Yeah, wait. What I like about these soundboard drops on a podcast is there's going to be a lot of people listening on their phone just assuming that some other random video from Instagram or something has started playing in the background. No one would automatically go, oh, that must be Greg on the soundboard.
That's true. It's very clearly established on Greg's podcast that there is a soundboard in use at all times. But I did just open up some pornos in another tab, so that's what that is.
Yeah.
I didn't push shit, dude. I didn't do so like there's like who knows what's going on with Ellie and Dina, but certainly nothing seems to be going on at the moment.
No. And hey, look, they're on a mission. Let's not have this complicated by these kinds of feelings. We've got a job to do out there.
Facts before feelings, that's what I was
That's right.
Yeah.
And then they get up the next day and they do a bit more riding. They see Dina's like, well, I reckon we're about 10 miles out from Seattle. And then lo and behold, there's a dead guy bloody in the middle of the path.
Yeah. Little cart overturned.
Yep.
Which to me, and this was the dead guy. This was one of the guys.
This is one of the guys. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Dina goes into the bushes and comes out and spews, does a big spew.
Yep. Yep.
That is the dead everyone.
Yeah.
The little girl's dead.
It reminded me like
kind of shocking.
Yeah. I mean, Dina spewing and then Ellie going in and having a look. It kind of reminded me a bit of like if your friend will like have a sip of something or mouthful of something like, oh, fuck, that's disgusting. Here, have a try. And you're like, no, I'm good. Just your friend just spewed everywhere and you're like, time to go in for a closer look.
Yeah. They see the dead everyone. This was a bit weird for me. Just because I was like, okay, so because when we saw them earlier, these baldies, that was back. I don't know if this was supposed to be happening. I assume this is concurrently happening while they're in their thing in Montana.
Yeah.
So at this point, they would have been dead for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because like Seattle and Montana, like by horseback, is very far.
Yeah.
Like this is a very long journey.
Yeah.
That takes months.
Yep.
I wasn't.
I assumed that was happening. We're seeing a montage of, a few nights pass, and like obviously there's more than that and whatever. This don't have to go too much into the game, but in the game they say it just literally goes. I think it says like 3 months later.
Yeah.
Like they leave Montana and then it just says 3 months later.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't it's just a weird. I don't really care, but also. It's like a bit weird when it's like, we all know America. It's like, I know how big it is. I know they're on horseback. And they'd be like skeletons now, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Or did they get killed earlier? Like, I mean, did they get killed later and it's just they showed it out of sequence? I don't know. But like,
maybe
It might have been that. Yeah.
it's just little things like that. It's like when I saw that Boy Swallows Universe show, I never thought I'd bring this up. But like it's set in the suburb of Darra.
Yeah.
And then the opening shot is the suburb of like Enogra. Was it like
Right.
way on the north side of Brisbane, right?
Right.
Which is like, if you're not from Brisbane, then fine. You don't know what Darra looks like, but like you clearly see clear landmarks of another place.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyone who has been to Brisbane or does know Brisbane knows this is absolutely way away, and it just immediately breaks any suspension of disbelief. Like, which is fine. We know that when a show is set somewhere, it doesn't have to be shot in that place, but don't set something in San Francisco and then immediately show me the World Trade Center.
Right.
Because that reminds me of 9/11.
Yeah, and that gets little Greg quite aroused.
Yeah.
And
You know
that's very
what's-
distracting.
But it's
You know what's even weirder than you bringing up Boy Swallows Universe is that I've not seen the show, but I've read the book, and multiple times through that book being set in Brisbane and talking heavily about Brisbane, I did think to myself, I bet Greg's got some thoughts about this book.
fucking that's not Darra, man. But what I'm saying is like you suspend you break suspension of disbelief when you show something that we all know. Like a lot of people know that Montana and Seattle are really far away.
Yeah.
And when I see a fresh dead body,
And even
when
if
you've
we
shown
didn't
the
know
scene
that,
happen at the same time,
even if we didn't know that geographically, we see that group ages ago walking, and we know that there are wolves nearby apparently, and then we see this massive long trip. So it's like, well, were the wolves back near Montana as well? Did all of this take a really long time? And there's that WLF are everywhere. Like a lot about it is, a little strange.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just meant to be non-chronological.
Maybe it's a really, really fast horse.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like superhuman ability, like beyond like far lap or anything like
it just
that.
has that Game of Thrones season 8 speed. Or
Yeah.
season 7 or whatever the last.
The jetpacking around, as they called it. Yeah.
But that's because that's the thing. Like you can also just go 2 months later, bam, and then like you don't have to. And it's one of those things where I didn't care because I actually, sometimes it's nice to just see a little montage of like beautiful scenery and seasons changing. But you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can literally just, and in a show that already has done several 3 months later to 10 years later moments, you absolutely can just jump ahead and you've already done that six times.
Yeah.
Feel free to do it a seventh time.
Yeah. Or just show these people as skeletons and then one of them has yes.
Sounded like you said skeletons. We are the skeletons.
Show these skeletons.
That's a spoiler. You've actually spoiled. People from the game know that there are a group called the Skeletons, and they're British skeletons who inhabit and they sing and dance with top hats.
I
That's what
knew
was
one of us
confusing
was going
about
to
it.
spoil something. But
I was thinking when she walked into the bushes that, she was going to just see a skeleton with a little top hat going, "Hello, my darling. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal."
And we were all confused. Maybe it's just because we know that normally that's when the skeletons appear.
Yeah. In the game, that's when they appear.
And they do all their songs and stuff. So for us, it's like this whole episode has thrown us.
Yeah.
Because there were no skeletons.
And because in the game, the skeletons scene goes for like 8 hours. So I think we were thinking like, why are they spending all this
crazy.
time on the town council and all this shit when we know we've got the 8-hour skeleton dance to get through?
Yeah.
And then it pretty much just the show ends.
Yeah.
Like it's just this dance, and then it just has text saying, "In the end, they all died from cancer." They danced so long for the skeletons that they all died and became skeletons themselves.
Well, fuck whatever I was going to say. No.
But,
made them all skeletons, and then one of them could have had like blonde hair like the girl, so we know it's them.
Oh yeah, sure.
But,
yeah.
but
either way, the point that has been gotten across is that these WLF cunnies, they are some bad hombres.
There's some
done
bad
some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And then we see like they go after that they go on a little overpass and they see Seattle and they're like, oh, it doesn't look like maybe there's, and she says something like, it doesn't look like it's that populated. Maybe these wolves aren't so tough.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not. There's not that many of them.
Yes. And Ellie says there'll be even fewer of them soon.
Yeah, that's right.
But fucking pride comes before the fall, as we all know.
Yeah. And then we see armored vehicles with machine guns
Oh yeah.
and troops with modern, well-maintained armor marching in formation.
Yep.
These wolves are here to hunt in packs.
Oh baby, I hear the blues are calling. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
And that's it. That's the end of the show forever.
It is
Can't wait to see how
crazy.
Niles talks his way out of this one.
It is. This is what's crazy too, and I'm like, I will spoil this for people that haven't played the game. That Last of Us does exist in the Niles Fraser universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
of
there
course.
is an old man Niles and Fraser
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So we will meet them soon. And Daphne.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the
The
dog.
mysterious...
The dog's been kept alive this entire time.
The dog has joined the skeletons. They have a little dog.
Yeah. Their logo
Skeleton
is
dog.
like the wolf one, but it's a little portrait of a little Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah, and he really believes in the skeleton's cause, because for him to be surrounded by that many bones on a day-to-day basis and not be hoeing in,
Literally
he must
dancing
really
in
be.
front of him, taunting him.
He's made of food for himself.
Sometimes you get on a riff and then you get mad that the show isn't actually this.
Yeah.
God, I'm loving these skeletons. Start tweeting at Neil Druckmann. Where are the skeletons coming in?
The skeletons.
You have cocked out, Cockman. There's no skeletons.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, I mean, loved that final shot.
Very
A
cool.
couple of nice little moments in there. I did like the moment of them in the tent, but yeah, there was just a lot of I was feeling myself, and like I say, so should we do our well, we'll do it in a minute, but the I just was finding myself I was trying to think if it was perhaps unfair because of knowing what the next step is from the game. I'd be interested to know both of your partners, like how they felt about this episode, like not knowing what was coming up next. Did they find it a little laborious?
It's hard because the second that I finished, I checked my phone, and that was when I found out I'd been in the Daily Mail. So most of our discussion was about that.
Sure.
But
This is like when Bird gets on his podcast.
and denigrates the truth.
Yeah. When he says cats are bad.
He hates the Daily Mail. I mean, he hates all mailmen.
Yeah.
But I think in I think my opinion, regardless of the game, would be it did feel like it was really just a setup episode and set up to the level of like we don't need this much.
We get
Yes.
it. And it was a long ep as well. It was like it was an hour 9 or something like that. Which
Maybe you're watching with ads.
Yeah, you poor bro. Are you getting Max with
feel like it
ads?
this is what I want to say too.
Oh, it did have
HBO
it did
Max.
have a. Oh yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Fucking HBO Max, like, because I'm on the one that says like no ads,
Yeah.
and then they just have an ad for another HBO Max show. That's still an ad.
That's
Yeah,
the
good
one.
point,
That's
actually.
That's still an ad.
That's a
and
good
also then you don't need to then show a little, even though it's 3 seconds ad for The Last of Us when I'm watching The Last of Us.
Man, I fucking hate that because there's stuff that is not happened in the show yet in that ad, and like
There's this
I
little
recognize
tiny
it.
teaser that goes like Last of Us starting now.
Yeah.
I know.
If this got you back in the Daily Mail, ABC employee slams ad for the righteous gemstones.
It reminds me of that the Simpsons thing where Smithers was at the drag racing thing and he's like, why do we have to keep hustling them? They've already bought a ticket.
Yeah.
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 Where are you taking me?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's also I before every episode I'm getting served an ad for the righteous gemstones, which A, tonally quite wrong, and B, yeah, man, I'm across the righteous gemstones.
Yeah.
Like I've
on my
watched a
list.
couple
Idiot.
episodes on this account already. Yeah.
I'm a high-level comedian. I know about the righteous
I've run into Danny
gemstones.
McBride in an airport, okay? I know about the righteous gemstones. Yeah. All right. Do you want to do our let's say if you've what we do here every week is we talk about the ep clean and then spoilers upcoming for potentially the rest of the season based on things that we know are probably coming up from having played the video game. So if you're watching this show, having not interacted with the games at all, then dip out here. Thank you for joining us. And Greg, do you want to give the starting pistol here?
I'll play some kind of sound. This is spoiler zone now. Is that coming through? Quite
Oh yeah, it's coming through.
Oh yeah.
It's nearly finished. And done.
Okay,
Yeah, great.
Beautiful.
Great.
We're now in we have squirted through the nozzle. And we're now in the spoil zone.
Yep.
I will say we got an email from someone who was like, love the podcast, guys. Been listening since you covered season 1. I haven't played the games. I'm not into video games, but, you know, I love this kind of stuff and I'm keen on the show. So I ended up just listening to your whole spoiler section last week, thinking that it wouldn't ruin the show for me, and really wish that I hadn't done that. It's really kind of taken away a lot of the surprise.
And you know what? Kudos to that person for sending an email. Not having a go, not being like, fuck you guys, just wanting to let you know I fucked up. I'm wearing that blame completely.
wish I
and I really regret what I've done.
All right, then this is a secondary disclaimer for anyone who's still on the fence.
That's
and
right.
maybe isn't thinking, maybe I'll listen.
Yeah.
We will ruin the end of the whole show.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything
We are
about
assuming you have played the game and know what happens at the end of the game.
Yes.
Yes.
I will also say my partner hasn't played the games and did enjoy the show, but at the end of this current episode was like, just tell me what happens. Just tell me what I just need to know what happens. I'm like, I'm not telling you what happens. And she was like, I'm just going to look it up on Wikipedia then. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm not telling you what happens. Just wait. But yeah, don't do that because it's a really good story.
Don't look it up, please.
Yeah.
Being in the car on the way to the cinema, being like, what's this movie about we're about to see? You know what? Fuck you. I'm looking the entire plot up on the Wikipedia page before I walk into the cinema.
Oh. No.
So there's like, it's weird because there's not much game stuff in, like, this whole episode is what is essentially like, 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I was trying to remember how much of this is like, we know that she's sort of gone off against the wishes of the town. It's not like a sanctioned thing. But yeah, I couldn't remember any of this like build up or anything like that. In my memory, it's like that happens with Joel and then we basically cut to them sort of riding.
What I can't remember, and tell me if I'm getting this wrong, because it has been a little bit since I played the second game, was it Tommy left... Because Tommy does go there.
Yeah.
And was it Tommy left first and then his wife was like annoyed at them and then they left to sort of track down Tommy?
I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly.
Like that is part of what they're going to do.
Yep, that's exactly right. Last of Us Part 2. Tommy sets out for Seattle to hunt Abby, and Ellie and Dina follow him. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
That makes sense. And like, I mean, it also makes sense that they changed it. I think both are good. I think the change is good. I think, I mean, I do think that there could be some major changes.
Yeah.
In the show now, because at that point, really, we just don't see Jackson again. Like, once they leave in the game, Jackson's done. Like, we don't go back.
Yeah, and that siege doesn't happen. So surely putting that in is kind of hinting at there being a bit more of a focus on it.
Exactly, and having like Catherine O'Hara as well, it would be weird if she's just never in the show again.
Yeah.
So, I think there could be some major diversions.
Yeah, I mean,
Tommy's going to a dog bark situation.
Yeah, he's going to deal with Cupie, little Cupie pie. No, totally. I think because Tommy in the show, I'm speaking about now for listeners. He clearly feels like this huge responsibility, especially now that Joel is gone. Joel was like town planner, fucking handyman. Like you know, he was a key part of that town. And he's going to obviously feel that, you know, conflict of like, well, I need to protect Ellie and Dina, but I have a wife and a child, which he doesn't have in the game. There's no child, which you know is even more of an impetus to stay. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Do we think Tommy goes?
Honestly, I have no idea at this point.
Yeah.
I think I almost kind of like it because I'm just not sure. Because they changed the order in which they go. They added like all the council scene and stuff, which again I just don't think is necessary regardless. But like in the game, they just kind of went like, I mean, they went after Tommy.
Yeah.
But like because the other big change, the massive change, is that at this point, Dina and Ellie were basically in a relationship when they left.
Yeah.
Because that whole thing about the kiss, that happened before Joel's death.
Yeah.
That was when they both found the weed place and they spent the night there waiting out the storm and they hooked up. And then, like, and that scene played out totally differently. It was like, maybe we should kiss again to see, and then they have a root.
Yep.
And they are like an item or a couple.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I don't like about the new direction, and I hope they just are not a couple at all. There's nothing I find more boring in any TV show than two main characters in a will they won't they relationship.
Yeah, sure.
I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm so bored of that as a concept.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I just don't. Whenever it happens, I no longer give a shit. When there's two characters are like, we kind of like each other, but we don't know, and there's really no reason for us not to hook up, but maybe we shouldn't.
But it's exactly like you say with the town council scene and everything. It's like, as a viewer, you know, once once the idea has been introduced, they probably are going to end up getting together. So like, let's get this cooking.
No, that's a really good point, and I think like because in the game it's not a will they won't they just are together, and Dina is bisexual and she's I think it does add something different, and it adds a different kind of tension, I guess, because we also know at this point that she's pregnant, and in the game at least. So yeah, if that dynamic in the show is that Dina is pregnant with Jesse's child, that's why she threw up at the corpses, not just because they're yucky. And Ellie now becomes a protector figure, even more so than she was in the game, and is starting to kind of be this mirror image of Joel in even more ways than just having a temper and a thirst for violence that, you know, ends up kind of ruining her as a person. I don't know, that I'd be curious to see that play out. I don't think that would be a bad change. necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind if they're not, like, it's not that they're not in a relationship or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's just like, it's like watching The Office.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like, I don't want to see a Jim and Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
If
know
they're
they're
just
gonna
going to not
fucking-
be in a relationship and that's not part of the story, then just have them not be in a relationship. Like, don't
Yeah.
have it be like this build up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also, I feel like, I as well, like, I mean, I hate having relationship stories that are like especially in a post-apocalypse, it's like, I feel like you just, if you want to hook up with someone, like, you're gonna.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, I feel like
Yeah.
you get, like, you're gonna be like, oh, who knows what the future holds, man. You're gonna get eaten by a fucking guy with a mushroom head tomorrow.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Yeah. This is my dad's criticism with some shows, that it'll be a great premise and great actors and, you know, good writing, but if it turns into a soap opera, then he's out.
Right.
And that's what that is. That is unnecessary insertion of these human relationships that kind of don't read as realistic and are only there because I guess some people in the audience do like will they, won't they's and people, you know, hooking up with someone behind someone else's back and all that shit. And it's like, no, yeah, that's not what I'm here for. And you have other stuff going on in this show that is way more interesting to explore.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like the whole will they, won't they thing works. It can work in a context where a relationship is one of the most important plot points and not
Right.
like the end of human civilization.
Yeah, yeah.
And B, when there's like literally any reason for them not to. Like, even if you go to like The Office or something where it's like, you know, Tim and Pam or Jim and Dawn. No, Tim and Dawn, it doesn't, who cares? But like,
yeah.
one of them's in a relationship with a fuckwit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, they literally can't, like, that would be, you know, like, it's when you're in a post-apocalypse and you're alone together on the road, and like, if you both like each other, you're going to root in a tent, like, as if you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, if there's no impediments and
Yeah,
you're in
yeah.
a post, like, shows where it's like two single characters for a season being like, will we hook up or won't we hook up?
Yeah.
You're both
Yeah.
single, you both like each other.
Yeah.
And again, in the
What's
game,
the issue?
Yeah.
in the game, we see in that 8 hours, at least 6 of them are the skeletons sucking and fucking each other. So
Yes.
we know that this IP is prepared to go there. So
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
just it's straight, like every moment that we spend on this fucking relationship is time not spent with the skeletons.
Yeah.
And I know there's only 4 episodes left. We haven't seen
Yeah.
a single skeleton.
No.
And I'm starting to get worried that we don't see any skeletons.
Well, I
in
mentioned
this
before
show.
that, you know, this episode was an hour 9 minutes, and like I just have a feeling that those last 4 episodes are not going to be 2 hours long of just skeleton content.
Yeah.
We're not going to get what we got in the game, which
they're
I
running out of
think
time. Yeah.
we all agree the game was a masterpiece. It was one of the best pieces of media that I've
Yeah.
consumed. Absolute, you know, artistic genius on display. And I don't think that they should cut out the best part
But
of it.
that was why.
Yeah.
All the
That
other
was- it
shit
was-
in the game, I could have given, you know, all this stuff about Joel and the cycle of violence and stuff. I
Yeah.
could truly give or take, honestly.
like all that stuff is the setting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the skeletons is the plot.
Yeah.
Like the skeletons is the story.
Yes.
The skeletons is the beating heart of the show.
That's
And
right.
Ironic for a group that has no heart.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
hearts.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
such genius about the metaphor. Like,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad when someone's finally talking about the skeleton.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who's doing what that young man did, where they're plowing through the spoiler section and being like, I guess they're serious. I guess there really are skeletons
Yeah.
singing and dancing in the video
Neil,
game.
Neil Druckmann, if you're listening, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing that's ever been done. Will
said
you
it
have
before.
the courage
Yeah, well, we have the guts.
to put the skeletons in The Last of Us?
All
I know
we
season-
want is a writing credit You know, that's all we want. Like, we're not
What
asking
is
for a lot.
created by,
Yeah.
co-created by. Ooh, yeah, the skeletons.
What if in 4 weeks' time we're watching the rehearsal after that week's episode of The Last of Us and Nathan Fielder is like, I listened to this podcast where they talked about how there should be skeletons in The Last of Us, and I started really thinking that it was a shame that they hadn't done that until now.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, I was look, it was I was really into the first 2 episodes, but fairly high bar. I didn't hate it, but I did this one, but I was definitely I was a little zoned out, I have to say. I was there was a little too much wheel spinning.
Yeah. And I think the stuff that they did set up or added in the context for the scars and stuff like that was, I kind of feel similarly to the first episode where we were all a bit like, is it the right call to introduce Abby and her motivation so early? I kind of have that same, and I honestly, when we saw the scars or the seraphites walking through the forest, I was like, oh, so this is going to be a side-by-side story with Abby and Ellie, and we're gonna get Abby's experiences, and and it's gonna be contrasted and but then I guess not. I guess again they're just telling the audience like, this is who these people are, this is how they operate, and they're not friends with the WLF.
I mean, I think we probably will see. I think we will see. I still think we will see that happen side by side. I think because I mean they've introduced them and they're gonna have to get, and also because of that stupid little teaser thing, I've already seen a couple of short clips where I'm like, I know that there's a more.
I guess we did see Manny as well. We see him on the radio talking to other people, and so I
think they will. But also, just interesting, what my partner watching it from an outside perspective when they all get killed, the seraphites. She's like, those poor people. They were just nice peasants. They were
that was Bridget as well. She was like, oh no, that poor girl, and she when they're under initially she's scared for them, she's like, oh shit, they're gonna get attacked, so that is still they're able to play a bit with the audience's expectations, which is cool. That is cool, and be interesting to watch someone else have an interesting time watching it next to me.
I think the real takeaway is that war is hell, and just because someone criticizes the soldiers are innocent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've never said nothing else.
Yeah. Have a think about that before you get into the DMs and call someone fat with your Joker profile picture.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done with this week? I don't think there's that much to kind of to take apart.
Thank you for listening, folks. Thank you for joining us, Greg. Looking forward to next week. Looking forward to, I think now that we've kind of set up a lot of stuff with this episode, I feel I feel a bit more confident in next week's one.
I want to see some action-packed, exciting adventures.
Yeah. Check out Gallipoli. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.